You guys ready? Okay, there's really no changes. The rescue effort is ended for the day because of the storm that came in. Also, there has been a curfew that's been imposed. It goes from 8 tonight until 8 a.m. in the morning. And there is no traffic that will be allowed in. The only thing that will be allowed in tomorrow will just be the rescue, the people for the rescue effort itself. We still only have I say only. We have 8 confirmed dead here in Kiowa County. The 9th that a lot of people are counting is the Stafford County Sheriff's deputy that was killed in a different, not a different storm, but a different area. So, that's the main things that we're asking. The other thing is we want to make sure that everybody that has questions contact the Red Cross in Pratt. That can be done at 620-672-3651. If they have things that they would like to donate, the Red Cross is going to go ahead. They'll make the assessment on what the needs are, and then the Red Cross will be the ones that they will transport them to Greensburg. The other thing is that they have questions about family members or loved ones, please contact the same number. That's who's handling all of those situations. As far as the number of people that are still missing, the Red Cross is trying to get a number, and we don't have one now, but they're trying to coordinate that between the shelters. Also, keep in mind, something that makes it a little bit more difficult is the fact a lot of these people went to family members in other towns, and it's very difficult to get a good count of those. And until we account for those people too, we only assume that they're missing, and very possibly they're not. So, those are the numbers that we have at this point. We've got communications is getting better as we speak. We have our comm van, or our comm truck that came out from the state. It's working very well. We have very good communications that's established with all of our people. The only people that's going to be remaining after 8 o'clock is going to be all law enforcement. And, they will set up a perimeter and provide security. They are letting trains through, and those trains are flagged individually. We have contact with the Union Pacific Railroad, and they're working very closely with us as well to see that no one's hurt. All of these things, like we said, there's really nothing new. It's just more of the same. Tomorrow we're going to have other things very early in the morning as we get any new developments. What we will do is we will bring anything here, and we will talk to people here, and we'll establish this as the area with the media. So any questions, we'll answer them here for you. The one thing,
have a list of the people who died.
The thing that we have a problem with is we have to establish next of kin, and in fact, we have to identify the people. So, all of those things have to be taken care of first. And as soon as all of that is taken care of, we'll go ahead and release and give those names. But that could be quite some time. So I don't know.
How they died, whether they were in houses, whether they were in the hospital. Can you give us anything, ages, male, female?
No ages, but I know that one died either at the hospital or en route. All the rest of them were dead here. We do know that much. So, that other than that, very little. The thing that you've got to keep in mind is the fact that these people were not in the location of their residence. They were in many cases very far distances from where they actually lived and where they were pulled into the storm. So that makes it very difficult. This place was just literally devastated. There's been people that have visited places that have been struck by tornadoes before, and they say that this is one of them that's very high in the top as far as the amount of devastation. And, we're talking to people that have been, in fact, the city manager here shared with me just earlier that he came from Oklahoma City, and he was in, around that devastation that took place there, and he said it's very comparable with that. So,
does any search and rescue continue tonight?
No search and rescue continues tonight. Only law enforcement and securement of the area is taking place.
What about tomorrow morning?
Yes, it'll start back up. I don't know the exact time, but soon after daylight in the morning. I'm sure well before 8 o'clock.
Can you give us an idea of just how many folks are out there working, searching, working in those areas?
I have no idea. There has been so much of an outpouring. We've had people from all over the state. We've had people from law enforcement officers and fire and EMS from other states that have came over. And we really, now they did have a sheet that a lot of those people signed, but, we really didn't have time to go down through and formulate all those. And the bad thing about it is I would hate to leave somebody out and start naming people. So,
can you give us an idea? I understand the governor's coming tomorrow and Senator Brownback. Can you give us an understanding of what their timetable is when they'll be here?
I don't, but we'll try to get more information about that. The general will speak, I'm sure, about that. And I know that he had mentioned today that there has been an agenda set up. So I'm sure that I honestly don't know. I don't have a real good answer for you. I haven't seen the general in a little while. I will ask him, and if I do have that information, I'll try to convey that to you.
To the media?
What?
Could that be faxed out to the media or emailed?
I don't know. I don't know if he has it, hard copy or not.
Okay.
But I know that he's been in constant contact with the governor, in fact, hourly. And anything that has taken place, any kind of changes, she knows immediately. So I know he's been in very good contact with her.
Certainly there are many questions. Everybody wanting to know, is patience really what everyone has to keep in mind during
this? Yes, patience is definitely, because the thing is, with all the devastation that we have here, you do not, there's no way that we can just do this quickly. And, you folks, all of you, in fact, the ones that have not, I'll give you a chance and we'll go down a little bit later and you can take a look at the massive destruction, because there is just absolutely nothing left. And, it's just like with the fire department and the city manager's office, the city administrator, the problem with it there is it's completely destroyed and the fire trucks with it. While we were out looking, there were several of you with us, and there was a Kiowa County deputy's car that had been just completely destroyed. And, one of our motor carrier and inspector trucks was completely destroyed down there as well, along with one of the trooper cars. So, a lot of the infrastructure has so much been destroyed that it's going to be very difficult. We have to reestablish a lot of those things. We've got a much better grasp on it this evening than we had early this morning. We had lots of help, but it was very difficult to be able to get everybody in the right place and doing what we needed done.
In regard to those who have yet been unaccounted for, I understand that you don't have a hard number on that, but do you have a sense that it's a handful of people, or is this a vast, potentially vast number?
Honestly, I don't even know enough to give you any idea, because I've heard various things. You got to keep in mind it is a small community, but we're still very concerned with our rescue efforts, and it's bothersome to us, and we don't know.
Can we assume by the fact that you've stopped the search and rescue for tonight that you don't believe that there's anybody still alive in the rubble? That's got to be your belief, correct? That's got to.
But the other thing that you've got to keep in mind is a lot of these people have responded very, very early in the morning. In fact, very, very late in the night last night. And they're at the point of exhaustion. And when you get to that degree, there's a stop. And, the other thing is the storm came through, and we barely missed it. And they thought that we were going to get it. My word, the Weather Channel was here. They thought we were going to get it. And they've got excellent information about those things as well. So it's very hard to determine. That the combination of the two is why it was stopped.